Slicing through the noise with a culture attack. Pop culture films in the world we see. Deleted scenes where the truth runs free. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Let's go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. This is Deleted Scenes, human being American and YouTuber Ronan. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's episode of Unscripted. I want to start off by saying hello to everyone currently following along on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. Already into chat, host of Films with Friends, the creator of the 10-word review, Big Al Presents. Faithful Blue Ranch, channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions. Connie Cleary. Friend of the channel, Tree Rock Creations. Usarn G. Our man from the future, Sashi. All right. Scrolling down. All right. For those of you who have always followed my channel, should be no surprise. I've always been a fan of movies. I used to go all the time. I just finished watching one just before I went on here. But something has changed. It doesn't have the same appeal anymore. The movie theaters when I was a kid, they had character. There was always something that set them apart from the others. You had the movie theater inside the mall. You had the art house. You had, the cool theater that showed like Rocky Horror Picture Show and Evil Dead, You had the movie theater that had the rowdy crowd that would throw things at the screen if they saw something they didn't like. You had the epic widescreen 70 millimeter theater. But now all those theaters seem to be gone. And you have these corporate chain theaters left. Your Regals, your Cinemarks, your Marcuses, your AMCs. And it doesn't feel the same. The multiplexes were there so that you could put the smaller independent films next to the big tentpole films, and you could go to one place and there would be something there for everyone. But the problem was no one went to go see the independent films. No one went to go see the one-off original films. Everybody went to go see the 27th Marvel movie. And those are the movies that are playing on half the screens. And it pushed the smaller movies out. The movies that needed the word of mouth. The movies that needed to be discovered. And you had time to discover a film. It wasn't any of this, even the movies that were not making the money, they still had a few weeks in theaters in order for an audience of some kind to find them. But now it's not the case because you have these smaller release windows. And it's no longer about making a good movie. It's about making a release date. And that's the shame. Because movie can't find an audience. Now, I haven't seen Frankenstein yet. I've heard some good things. I was hoping to see it this weekend. I missed my chance. But here's the thing. There was a time when something like Frankenstein would be, and this was the perfect time for it, guys. This was October. Okay, this is when you would expect a monster film. This is when you would expect a horror movie, something like a Frankenstein. This is the perfect time to release a film like that into theaters. But what do? They put it out in a limited amount of theaters for a couple of weeks, and then they dump it on Netflix. We have been trained after the pandemic, and that's what I'm going to start calling it. We were trained after the pandemic stay at home. Don't go to theaters. Watch streaming. Find other ways to see a movie. The other problem is the exorbitant ticket prices. I can't, in good conscience, tell someone to go to a movie, spend $20 a person to get in, if I don't think the movie is worth that kind of a price to go in. So where does that leave me as a critic? Is it possible to critique a film in a time like this? because there's so much working against the average film goer. You have the you have these minimum release windows. You have the exorbitant ticket prices, unless you're lucky and you have something like Regal Unlimited or something like that. You have to deal with the fact that the movie-going experience is not what it once was. You're surrounded by people who are not watching the movie, they're looking at their phones. So what do you do? What does Hollywood do? What is Hollywood trying to do? And here is where we brush up against our second problem, and that is Hollywood itself, who has pushed away half of their audience, and they've done it deliberately. And they did it with glee, and they've reveled in it, and they continue to do so. You have these manufactured movie stars. That's the thing, guys. Hollywood, set aside the fact that Hollywood has always been red. I'm not talking about that. We'll set that aside. What I am talking about is the fact that we are not only seeing the death of cinema, we are seeing the death of the movie star. There's maybe we have who can open a weekend? Tom Cruise? Maybe in his last couple of movies have been unable to pull that off. And he is probably, guys, love him or hate him, the quote unquote last remaining movie star. Nobody can open a weekend. There are no more movie stars. The Rock is not a movie star. I'm sorry, guys, he's not. Yeah, Jared Leto won an Oscar. Good on him. He's not a movie star. He can't open a weekend. Who says he can be in a Tron movie? You can't just will that into being. Now, this past month, was the worst month for the box office in 27 years. And yes, they're not counting the pandemic years, but still. They have pushed away the audience, and no one is going to the theaters anymore. And there are a number of reasons for that, some of which I've just laid down. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the movie industry burn itself down. but it seems to want to do it. I don't want to see theaters close. I don't want to see, these kids who work at these places, find themselves out of work. I don't want those people whose names scroll by at the end of the film. I don't want to see those people lose work. But it's happening. And there are those in Hollywood, those who write for the trades, who want to blame us, who want to blame John Q. Public. Which they like to do a lot. Well, how come there aren't enough, black or Asian movie stars? I don't know. Why don't you maybe, I don't know, cast them in something? Because that's not our choice. Why don't like minority actors get to? Why don't they win Oscars? I don't know. You guys vote on that. We don't get a vote. If it were up to me, I would be nominating the dog from Good Boy for Best Actor, and I'm not kidding. We don't get a vote. Twitter got a vote one year, and what happened? Justice League got 2 Oscars. I don't consider them legitimate. Because what the fuck did you think Twitter was going to say? It's full of Snyder bots. Again, not what tonight's show is about. But you get my point. The movie going experience as it was when I was a kid, or at least the way I looked at it when I was a kid, is gone. I want it back. I'm not going to get it back. I know that. Say what you want about the Oscars. It's political, it's all who you know. Oh, it's gay. Yes, it is all of those things. But when you are someone who is a fan of movies, there was a time when the Oscars meant something. And they don't anymore. Who knows? Maybe this year that'll change. There are definitely some movies and some performances that I'm rooting for that I think have a chance of getting in there this year. But putting that aside for a second, there is a change. And I feel it. I feel it when I walk into a movie theater. I feel this physical change. And everything about it says go away. And I do wait for streaming. And I do watch films using other means. Arg ye mateys. But I long for the old days. And I want to see them return. And maybe I'm not ready to give that up just yet. Because whether you think it's right or wrong, I remember the good times. And I know I'm not supposed to. And I'm surrounded constantly by these people that are telling me that I'm wrong. What do they know? They weren't there. And maybe the actors who are in Star Wars, it didn't mean the same thing to them that it did to us. That's not the point. The point was there was a time when we were all together with this. And I feel a little bit every day that a piece of our culture is just slipping away from us. And I don't want to come on here and rant or sound like I'm complaining or that I'm unhappy or anything else. I want to talk about something good that happens. But guys, we don't have good news here. The lowest box office in 27 years. This is not a message that as a moviegoer I wanted to send or that I wanted to see us send, but we didn't have a choice. They didn't give us the choice. We had to hit Hollywood into one place they still seem to care about, and that is their wallet. But also understand that once we do that, there are consequences. Theaters close. People lose their jobs. Maybe they don't make as many movies. Another thing that is going to be an issue are these outlandish budgets that they spend on these films. One battle after another needs to make $600 million just to break even. It's lucky if it's going to make 200. It's not it's not a big effects budget movie. It's not CGI splooge all over the screen. It's not going to make that kind of money, especially if it is a movie that is intentionally alienating half of the potential audience. The problem with celebrities, their main problem, they think that everybody is going to agree with them and is going to lockstep follow behind them. That's why they believe that when they tell us who to vote for, we're going to go, okay, Jennifer Lawrence said vote for this person, so I'm going to vote for this person. No, we're not going to do that. We proved that we weren't going to do that. We chose not to listen to these people because we see them for what they are now. They believe that when they make a movie, that movie is going to save lives, that it's going to change the world in some fashion. No, it's not going to save lives or change the world. Why? It's just a movie. And in the end, good or bad, indifferent, it's not that important. No, this, I am not angry. This is not a rant. This is just me merely listing facts. We have told them what they need to do. We have shown them the way. They have willingly chosen not to listen. The ball's in their court. It's up to them. They can continue down this path and burn down their industry, or they can choose to turn it around. And that's less emphasis on politics, lower budgets, Jesus, Pete God, get off of social media so you can build up some kind of mystique around yourselves again. If you pardon my pun, wasn't intentional. Stop claiming that everything you do is the first time that somebody did something, because it isn't. We, the movie-going public, have told you what we require from you. You can take a different path. Or you can continue down the one that you have been traveling down, which has brought nothing but ruin. And people are going to go elsewhere if you don't. They've already started. There's a reason why YouTube is more popular than going to the theaters or even television. There are channels here on YouTube that are watched by more people. There are videos that are out right now that have been watched by more people than the entire top 20 list of movies that came out this week. I have said this time and again, be the competition. We have become the competition. We are making our own films. We are writing our own books. We are creating our own comic books. We are creating our own entertainment, our own content. And now AI is coming. AI, which can be used as a tool if you use it properly. My channel is not an echo chamber. My opinion is mine. You can agree or you can agree to disagree. That's totally up to you. And I like to think that that's why you keep coming back every week to watch the show, to hear me out, put my 2 cents in. That's all this is. But I am seeing a downturn here that is just quite frankly depressing. It's not all bad. There are good movies out there, guys. You just have to go out there and find them and seek them out. Because for as bad as it seems, I'm not ready to give up yet. Even after everything. We need entertainment. We need it. We need to be taken away from our own lives for a couple of hours. We need to be taken away from our lives for just a couple of hours so that we can be entertained, excited. Movies that can make you think. Hell, man, even romantic chick flicks. I'll take one of those at this point. What was the number one movie? Some Halloween themed horror movie? No, it was a frickin' Colleen Hoover adaptation. Which honestly I think is kind of sad, but appears to have found an audience. So good for it, I guess. Then you have anime, which I am not well versed in, but might be better than what we've got. Pay attention to some of these foreign films, guys. Because they haven't been inflicted by this woke mind virus just yet. How long that lasts, I don't know. I can sit here, I can give you lists and I can give you numbers, you know. I'm not a numbers guy. You want numbers? There's Valiant Renegade. There's Culture Casino. There's WDW Pro. Go watch those channels because they'll get into the nitty-gritty like that. I'm talking about the actual act of going to a theater, sitting down with a bucket of popcorn, and hopefully having a good time. Where you're watching a movie made by people who cared and aren't calling you a scumbag. So you can have that escape that you deserve. That you need. That I need. We're not that different. You and I. I don't think I'd have a channel if I did. You're smart people. I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. I long for a time that may be gone. Doesn't make me a hater. Doesn't make me a shill. Doesn't make me a Nazi. I'm nostalgic for a time that I look back on with some fondness. And all of that seems to be disappearing. And good night, Sashi. I'll be wrapping it up soon. I long for a time that seems to be gone. But I'm going to hang on, and I'm going to hang on with my fucking fingernails if I have to. I'm not ready to give up. They can take my channel. They can burn down my home. They can kill me. But I'm not giving up. And if the mainstream won't take the helm, then the independent is the way to go. And I'll continue to support the independent creators and the independent media. And maybe one day, someday down the line, Hollywood can restore itself to its former glory. I don't see it happening anytime soon, though. So I guess we just take it day by day. Hello to JPRPH1, channel member. Good to see you, sir. Hello to D. Penzak. Hello to Chirot Creations. Says, I feel like I'm in a different time. I remember what was and how much has been lost. Yes. I find myself in the same spot. D. Penzak says, just saw Frankenstein last night. Was so, in my opinion. Yeah. Hello to Aged Boomer. Boomer Show, Geeky Geezers. At the top of the hour. Stay through the end of the broadcast. You'll be redirected. Nowadays, they refer to movies as content. I remember when motion pictures were thought of as an art form, as do I. That's part of the problem is they look at this as like I said, it's content. Making a release date instead of making a movie. Depensac says, just like industry use dynamic pricing, I suggest the audience use something similar for film referrals. T-Rex says, for the viewer, limited release like Frankenstein actually increases the movie theater experience because driving distance, meaning gasoline costs. Hello to Nate, Geek Flag with Nate Knows, channel member. Says, I think Hollywood has chased away more than half of their audience because the audience they are chasing after is not as big as they think it is. No, I mean, the audience they're looking for is maybe like 40%, if that. And I think the numbers are starting to prove that. And the death of a cultural experience, film viewing in public, yeah. Kapla! Two Gorillas Random Thoughts. Good to see you, sir. Jared Leto should just stick to music because 30 Seconds to Mars isn't a bad band. Maybe that's true. I wouldn't blame him though. He's just a symptom, And he's going to get all the blame because the movie went wrong. Why make a movie if it doesn't have a chance to make money? There are movies that are made that don't make a whole lot of money. All right. Let me put it this way, okay? I don't go by box office. There are a lot of movies that are popular now that were flops in their day. I don't always think of box office as being equal to quality film. Don't get me wrong, if that's making it like, no. Just because a movie doesn't make money doesn't mean it's a bad film. I am just saying that these movies, good or bad, right or wrong, they are not getting the chance because they are being pulled out of the theaters and put to digital so quickly. And they're not going to make the money on digital or on streaming that they could when they are in the theaters. And you allow that word of mouth to build. Big Al Presents says Amy Madigan needs a nomination for Weapons. Yeah, I think she'll get one. And it's deserved, despite some of the goofy shit that she said online, and talking about that for a minute, where she apparently, I don't know where they're getting this, but this is the story. Bear with me for a minute. Apparently her character from Weapons has become somehow this gay icon. Which, yes, this character is now popular among gay and trans people. I go, okay. The character that kidnaps children and murders several people, including a gay couple, it is now the gay icon. I go, okay, if you think so. I don't know. You do you, I guess. But yeah, straight up, she's good in the movie, and this is one of those other. Yeah. It's the Cher phenomenon. Yeah, it's, yeah. I'm starting to think. Um. And hello to you, G. It says I think it is different for me because the theaters near me are reasonably priced. 5 USD tickets. Yeah, they're like I said, if you're on like Regal Unlimited, or if you go on specific days, there will be lower ticket prices. But that's not always the case. And if you're going to spend $20 a pop, and then you're going to go to the concessions, or you're going to buy some specifically designed, a popcorn bucket, because that's how they pay for this stuff, man. That's how they stay running. The concessions and the popcorn buckets and the t-shirts and all the other swag, Same here. I don't want movie theaters to disappear, but they are. I don't know what to do about it. Yeah, I know. The way to keep them open is to continue to go, but they're not giving us the incentive. They're not giving us the reason to go, because they're turning us away with their attitude. How badly do you think that Hollywood Reporter review hurt Predator Badlands? Because I'll guarantee you it did. Which kind of sounds to me like there are people out there that are deliberately trying to shoot that movie down. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to blame us for it. Oh, you don't want to see a gay Predator movie, you're homophobic. You're the reason the movie flopped. No, I don't want to go see a fucking gay Predator movie. But guess what? You want to know what my friends who have seen this movie are telling me? All of that is complete bullshit made up by the press. But the problem is, people are going to believe it, and they're going to ignore the movie, and the movie is going to flop, and they're going to blame us anyway. When they did it. It will be the Grace Randolphs of the world who are at fault. Even YT is changing because of AI slop, and it's difficult to find new quality content. I stay away from the AI channels. And you know which ones they are, with the robotic voices, and they make up these stories that are bullshit, that total lie, total whole cloth lies. I tell you, the ones I do like, because I look at them as one ifs, is if you get something like a channel like Striker HD, you know, and they, who does like these, it's AI, but it's these what ifs, what if they had done the Avengers in the 80s? Who would have played those characters? I like and they make up like these little trailers with, and it's like, I like that because it's a what if, you know, what if they had done the Avengers in the 70s and Robert Redford played Captain America? I would have been totally down with that, you know. So I like the idea of that little what if, you know. Uh, how is a movie to make money if theaters and physical media are gone? Don't have any answers. I don't either, and that's another thing, because obviously I am a big proponent of physical media, you know, but we're running out of places to go, and we're kind of forced to go to these. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but we have to go to these boutique distributors because they're the only ones releasing the movies anymore. Because the stores don't have the physical media. They've gotten rid of it all, and they shot themselves in the foot by taking it away. The entertainment industry would rather invest in tech than people, new writers, scripts, and actors. And that's what they need. They need the new writers. They need the new scripts. They need the new actors. You need to replace the generation that you're losing. You need to find, Quentin Tarantino is going to do one more movie and fucking walk. We need someone to replace him. We need to replace the Fritz Langs, the John Fords. We need to replace the legends that we're losing, and there's no one there. And I fear that they are out there. They're just not being given the opportunity. There are new writers, there are new scripts, there are new actors. Can they replace the legends we're losing? And I want to give them the chance. But it's not up to me. Hello to FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim. Good to see you. Watching movie theaters disappear is a bad movie that I don't want to watch. Yeah, I mean, I don't, guys. I am not willing for any of this to happen. I don't get me wrong. I don't want to see the movie theaters die. I don't want to see the movie theater experience die. I want the good old days of the 80s to come back. I want to see a brand new Raiders of the Lost Ark. I want to see a brand new Gandhi. I want to see a brand new The Right Stuff. I want to see a brand new On the Right Track, damn it. And I want that. And I don't want that to go away. I want to go to a movie and tell you, hey, I just saw this really great movie the other day. That's why I'm here. That's why I started a channel. I don't want it to go away. But I can't save it alone. Content creators on YouTube making better films than Hollywood makes. Agreed. Say what you want about Shelby Oaks, and I'm still going to do my review for it. At least Chris Stuckman fucking tried to make a movie. At least Curry Barker is out there. There are YouTubers who are out there making films. There are actors who started out on YouTube. There are singers that started out on YouTube. So they're there. This is the place to be. Now is the time. Yes, but YT doesn't promote them. Also true. They are buried and will need to be searched through the trash. This is why I am going to start letting you know about the channels that I watch. And about some of these content creators that I am talking about. Some of these new filmmakers. I'm going to start telling you about them. They need to be known. They need to be seen. So if you want to get into, Sashi says, if you want to get into anime, so just Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood has a great dub. I consider it better than the subs. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. So I'm not giving up either, but I like to feel good about the movie theater situation, but I can't ignore facts. Yeah. It's harder to find real movie theaters because of the, no, man. They're there. You just got to find them. Hello to Jason Fox. You're catching us right at the end, Jason. We're about to wrap it up here. Geeky Geezers is going to be starting here in the next few minutes. But of course, you know what? The show is going to stay up. I'm not taking it down. I have a playlist with all 129 episodes. So if you miss one, please go and check it out. This is my longest running program here on YouTube. I want to thank everybody who continues to come back every week and is willing to hear me out. And I get to hear from you here in the chat. So I want to thank everybody who was following along on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. I want to thank Jason, Tree Rock, JP, Connie, Tim, Sashi, D. Penzak, Usarn G. Let me scroll up. Big Al Presents. Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Nate. Boomer. And everyone who's following along in the live chat. I'm not ready to give up. The time has come for us to step up. So that's what I'm going to do. From HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night. Take care, stay strong, be safe and healthy, because this is how we win.
Back, slicing through the noise with a culture attack. Pop culture, films, and the world we see. Deleted scenes where the truth runs free. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties reviews to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Yeah, yeah. Steve out on your YouTube, bro, let's roll.
you